Hi, everybody. I don't know how you feel about this match between Tien and Shelton, 100% American match, but for me, it's very, very exciting. I hope that Ben feels better because in the first round he was very sick. But if he does feel well, I think we're going to have a very good match between two guys that are, for completely different reasons, completely different personalities, but both of them are very exciting to watch. Both of them are the future of our game. Ben Shelton is already in the top 10. He's already won a Masters 1000. He's already one of the top guys, but he still needs to progress if he wants to win Grand Slams, beat Alcaraz, beat Sinner. Still a long way to go. And Tien is younger. He's not in the top 10 yet, but he's progressing extremely fast, and I think he's pretty impressive. He's not very tall. Lefty. He moves very well. Is staying very close to the baseline to return in the game. Takes the ball very early, hits the spots, and serves really well for someone of his height. Let's start to dive into some data because our analytics team has worked to prepare this match in the best possible way, and we have data to share with you. First of all, this is the data of the start of 2026. It's a good percentage of first serve for Shelton, 69%, and he wins 76%, which is good. The problem that he can face is returning, because but serve is really big. 47% of his serves are unreturned. And when Shelton serves T on the outside, 69% of his serves are unreturned. So serve is really his big asset. He also has a big forehand, and he comes to the net quite a lot to finish up the points. We're going to look now at Tien's percentages on the serve. He averages 9.3 aces per match in 2026 compared to 4.6 last year. So it's huge improvement. As I said, for someone his height, his serve is pretty amazing. 45% of his first serves go unreturned. It's 11% more than last year. Also, for a guy his height, that's also amazing. And he didn't improve his serve speed. It's the same as last year, but he's serving 10 centimeters closer to the lines, which is a lot. I mean, if you look at it, it's something like this, closer to the lines. And that explains his efficiency on the serve this season. We have other things to share, the tactical patterns. You have two lefties against each other. Shelton varies direction more on both forehands and backhands. He moves the ball around. Tien is happier to play cross-court on both sides until he gets a chance to attack down the line. He's more structured in his game. I would say that Shelton is very instinctive and he likes to change direction a lot. Tien is more solid in what he's doing. Of course, Shelton's big weapon is the forehand inside out. And the biggest weapon of Tien is the forehand down the line. So we'll have a look on the patterns of play. But Tien is very tactical. He's coached by Michael Chang, which always been a very tactical player as well. And they have similar qualities. I think that Tien is more aggressive. But we'll see. We'll talk about the tactical. But first, to finish, they played each other once. It was in Mallorca in 2025. And we have a few figures there. Shelton's first serve, he served 58% of first serves, which is way lower than the 69 he usually has. Tien's winning point on second serve was very high, 58%. He won 58% of points on Shelton's second serves. 80% of the returns on second serves were directed to Shelton's backhand, which is by far his weaker shot. Tien won 71% of the points that went over 9 shots. So that's something we're going to look at also. When the point will last longer, it's going to be Tien's advantage. And Tien's forehand was more little than Shelton's because he scored 11 winners for only 6 unforced errors. Shelton 6 winners for 13 unforced errors. We have to say also that I don't think grass is the best surface yet of Ben Shelton. The score was 6-4, 7-6. It looks like it was 6-4, 7-6 for Shelton. I think it was 6-4, 7-6 for Tien. I'll ask my team to confirm, but I'm almost sure about it. So Tien won their first encounter, I think. But this needs confirmation. So the tactical, I mean, if I would play against Shelton, yes, so Tien won. Yeah. So that's there is a mistake on the paper, which is not a paper, on the screen, I mean. So I would move him. I would take the ball very early, which is something that Tien does very well, and move the ball around much. But I would also block Shelton on his backhand. That's the two things you can do against him. Where he can progress, movement, I think, because when he's moved fast to the sides, he has a tendency to slice and get in defense. And return and backhand. So there are a lot of things that he can progress, and he's already top 10. That shows a lot of potential. What a huge second serve. That was almost an ace. We said that Tien is not a very tall player, and these kicks that go over his head are lethal. Let's start watching that match. Just before that, just a few words. There is a match between Zverev and Nakashima at the moment, and they are fighting hard. 1-all in the third. 7-6 Zverev, 7-5 Nakashima, and there was a figure that on the statistics that caught my mind. Was the percentage of points won after the second serve. For both players is 43, but in the second set, Alexander Zverev won only 33% of the points on his second serve, which means that he's quite dominated in the rallies, and 50% for Nakashima. The start of the match is typical Ben Shelton. Ace, double fault, crazy power, and he makes the first errors and the winners. First forehand down the line for Tien, but it was in the alley. Tien will have to deal with the power today, a power that you don't see that often on tour, because Ben is probably one of the most powerful. His serve is huge in terms of pace. So he'll have to return. And even in the rally, when he hits the forehand, a lot of times he goes full power. But too many unforced errors. We've seen that forehand. The last one of Ben that went really far out on a ball that was not making theoretically any problem to him. Drop shot for Shelton, not extremely well executed. Sometimes we feel he's getting rid of the ball instead of accepting to build and be in the rally and fight to get the short ball. He rushes a bit. That's also something that he needs to progress in. And another unforced error, forehand. Already 3 unforced errors in that game. In the first game of the match. He knows, Ben knows that Tien is very dangerous. That's way better. On the break point, he's more locked in. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I look at Shelton's face and I feel he's already suffering. He really still looks. Ooh, That's a big mistake. That was an easy passing shot. I thought he would lob because Ben was really close to the net. Hi, Nerad for F4. Remember you from yesterday. You were on the chat. And hi, Shulky SVW. Who do I think will win? I would put a little coin on Tien today. What a return. Unbelievable. Even though I was not impressed by Tien's match in the first round, he was way more impressive at the Australian Open. It was unbelievable at the Australian Open. Almost no enforced errors, so close to the net, taking the ball early, moving the ball around fast. He was really... The way he beat Medvedev, I think, was a masterclass. And actually, Daniil was even laughing because it was impossible for him to play that well. There was no options for him to win, 0. And then he played a good match against Zverev, lost it. But I think Zverev played probably the best match of the whole tournament against Tien at the Australian Open. Yeah, it's a super entertaining matchup. They're completely different styles. Already a difficult game for Shelton. His first service game. Good serve, buddy. Smart. Yeah. Maniaki, yeah, his serve was crazy. He impressed. I don't know whose serve you're talking about, but if it was Tien's serve, yes, he improved incredibly on that. Look at that. Okay, Stefaru, see you later. Are you a Zverev fan? I think so, huh? And Nest90, welcome to the chat as well. Happy to have you. For everyone, of course, feel free to... Wow, and an ace to finish the game. Whoa. Hi, Frederick1109. That's the first time you are using the chat, so be welcome. And for everyone, of course, the goal of this chat is for you to be able to interact or ask questions or do... But be present there. 1-1. Ben really struggled on his service game. Tien was impressive. That's only the start of the match, so we don't draw conclusions, but we can already say that we saw the two different styles. One super solid, and one that does the mistakes and the winners. Look at that. Let me look at the statistics of that match. I have them. Shelton is dangerous when he's sick. Probably not than when he's not sick, I guess. I don't know how sick he feels today, but in the previous match, I don't know how he pulled this one out because he was really, really sick. Yeah, that's a strange choice to change direction on this one. For Tien, the ball was very, very deep. Was a good slice from Shelton. Not the ideal shot to change direction. That explains also the miss, because it was a difficult shot to go down the line. And I was questioning before the match the ability for Tien to return a lot of first serves from Shelton. It's just the start of the match, but so far he does return, and he stands really far from the baseline to return, which is something that usually he doesn't do. Of course, today he faces Mr. Power, Shelton, who was serving and volleying on second serve. The ball hit the net, so he's going to have another one. Ooh, what a backhand cross from Ben. Wow, full power. Yeah, he gave him a good angle with a ball that was not that fast, and Ben took advantage of it. Yeah, I told you before the match that the serve of Ben down the tee on the outside was the most unreturned. And it's not surprising because he has the lefty slice, so the players really anticipate. And another drop shot. A lot of Mani Aki. What are you saying? A lot of coaches in the place that I play with are left-handed, and they all say they don't like playing against each other because they're also not used to playing lefties. That's true, by the way. That's true. Yeah, I mean, when they play righties, first of all, they're used to play righties. They know exactly how to play righties, and they have a big advantage. So when they play lefties, first of all, they lose this advantage, and second of all, you're right. It's as disturbing for a lefty to play a lefty that it is for a righty to play a lefty, because it's unusual. And Shoki SVW says Shelton's mimic and behavior is very weird. I agree with you. He still looks I said it from the first points of the match. It looks like he's suffering from something. So and also I think his face is a little bit swollen. Also, I think he's very sick. And I think even more than what he does usually, he's going to try to shorten the points even more, with going for the winners early, drop shots, and a lot of things like this that he's done a lot since the start. Oh, Fiki mate, welcome to the chat. It's your first time. How many language can you speak? That is important for the relation with the player. It's a very good question, by the way. I think it's what is important is to understand each other perfectly. So when you speak the same language, of course, it's way better. But I've coached a lot of players. 90% of the players I've coached were not speaking my language, so I had to speak English. I wish my English would be better. It's good, but it's not great. So I would say it's a disadvantage. Yeah, because if you look at the list, Naomi Osaka, Simona Halep, Serena Williams, of course, but also Grigor Dimitrov, Marcos Baghdadis. The only one that was French was Jérémy Chardy that I coached, but the other one that was speaking French was Marcos Baghdadis, because he was at my academy since he was 13 years old in France, so he learned to speak French. So he was speaking French with me, which was also doing Daniel with his previous coach that he had for such a long time, because Daniel is in France also for a very long time and speaks fluently French, so he was speaking French. Great second serve from Tien, down the tee. And I speak only two languages, only French and English. I'm not great at languages. I have so much admiration for guys who speak well several languages. I think it's amazing. I wish I had this talent. And I think when you're exposed to a lot of different languages at a very young age and you learn 2 or 3, then to learn many more is, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's easier for them. Yeah. I think it's important for Tien to move Ben as much as possible, So I wouldn't go today with the tactics to try to block him on the backhand. I would rather take the ball early and move him as much as possible at a high pace. And even because also if he's sick, he's going to struggle. Frederick 1109, what do you think about Zverev's form? I've seen the first almost 2 sets between him and Nakashima today, and I saw his first round also. I don't think I don't see him in a good form at all. He makes many more unforced errors than usual, and I don't think he's very decisive. He's saved by his serve, but I don't see him in a great form. Fakey mate, I'm French, but I'm training with my English on Twitch because it's so important. Yeah, well, bienvenue sur le chat. Yeah, English is whatever you do today. If you don't speak English, you have a big disadvantage. Yeah, that's a good passing shot from Tien, but what about this volley from Ben? He should have put this one away easily. It was too nice, too soft. He had a high volley and he went in front. He could have hit a slice short volley. Forehand would have been winner. That's a good serve, but Tien was... he had it in his racket. It was loft 30. That's the kind of ball you have to put in, whatever happens. Don't give a free point because he can hit an ace on the next one, and then he's back to 30 all. $15, 30-second serve, important. And serve and volley again. And missed volley. No, Ben is not feeling well today, I can tell. And I can tell by the way he plays. I mean, first of all, his look looks weird. But second, even the way he plays to go so much serve and volley on second serve. I feel that he's a bit desperate from the baseline. He's avoiding long rallies today. Great serve. What a return, mamma mia. That's a missed opportunity from Tien because, look, and he's suffering physically after only 3 shots. Look, he's breathing hard, Ben. Yeah, it's a missed opportunity because, he had really the passing shot in his racket and chose the lob, but the lob was too short. It was a break point. So, yes, you like Shelton and Tien more. Me too. I love to watch them play, both of them. And it's a great match to watch. But the Zverev match is quite close. And you're German. I understand that. 3-all. Yeah. I just think the match is not great quality. I will tell Ben and Lerner to take their time. Yes, I will. Nerad F4. Oh no, I feel so bad for Shelton. I feel like he hates to disappoint his dad. But maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. No, they have an incredible bond. Incredible. And that's also why it's working so well, because I think the relationship is extremely good. Deuce, second serve again. And another drop shot, but this one is out from Ben. Now, I understand it's a difficult situation for Tien because he clearly sees that Ben is not feeling well. So and he's missing quite a lot. So he's probably trying to put as many balls in as he can and let Ben miss. But I think it's important that what a serve. And that's one of the big qualities of Ben on the big points when he has to save break points. On the important moments, he's always able, not always, but most of the time able to hit an incredible serve. Oh, what a return from Tien again. That's amazing. No, he's not. He's not good. I can tell you. And that's also why Tien is making those errors. You know, Ben completely anticipated the backhand cross. Shoki SVW. Shelton always needs time to get in his games. I mean, he lost the last 5 first sets. And an ace to finish this game. He saved 2 break points. And that's why I think that both Alcaraz and Sinner are so impressive. Because you see today, Ben is super sick. And this is things that happen. And so to be winning with such consistency for Sinner and Alcaraz, that's really unreal. You really have days where you had a terrible night, days where you feel sick, etc., etc. And still, you know, they find a way to win. Let's see. It's a good test, I think, for Ben today, because he has a tough match, and let's see if he's able to pull it through, even though he feels so bad. Four all in the third, Nakashima Zverev. Yeah, I mean, to answer Stefaru, yeah, I feel that's really today, in this tournament so far, Zverev is really not, he doesn't have the power. He's a bit cautious, he doesn't really go for his shots. I just want to say that we're also live on YouTube tonight, and I want to thank Imintunda5540 for a very nice comment also. Of course, feel free also to leave some commentaries on YouTube if you're watching there. Oh, that's not a good slice. You know, it's also somewhere he can really improve a lot, Ben, on this slice backhand, because he tends to hit the backhand slice only with his arm, without involving the body. Yeah, let's look at the draw as oh, what a return again. 2 incredible returns in a row for Ben. But an injured player or a sick player is always dangerous, because, of course, there is less pressure, more relaxed. So in general, it can help them be loose and have a better shot quality. That's why it's important to move them. If you don't move them, it reminds me of the end of the match at the Australian Open between Zverev and Alcaraz. When Alcaraz was cramping, whenever he was hitting the ball, he was hitting incredible shots. And because he was cramping, Zverev was struggling to move him. He was expecting too much the mistake, but it's very difficult, I have to say. Yeah, to look at the draw, just to say that the winner of this match will play against probably Mensik or Davidovich Fokina. That's a better shot from Tien, moving Ben. Another one very good, moving Ben. Another one very good. Excellent. That's great tennis. Amazing tennis for Tien. And you can see that Ben is running, but not as fast as usual. Such a clean tennis, Tien. And that's his favorite slice. Very short. He's amazing at this serve. Oh la la. Ben clearly suffering. Yeah, Lerner slice on the outside is incredible. He finds such a short zone, and that opens the tee a lot. So when he serves the tee, he hit a lot of aces. Nerad 4 F4 says, became a Tien fan after he defeated really Opelka. He truly was a giant killer that day, in my opinion. So Tien was a giant, not Opelka. And DJ, welcome to the chat. You're here for the first time, asking if Ben is injured. I think he's sick. I think he's sick, and he was sick in this previous match. So it looks like he's suffering from big sickness, so he's struggling to move, and is suffering when he hits more than 4 shots in a rally. And he hits a lot of drop shots. Oh la la, this one was amazing, by the way. As I said, when the ball will be in his racket, a lot of times he's going to hit a good shot. I have a question on YouTube from Ezod Dimitrilovic. Dimitri Loic, sorry. Hi, Patrick. I have a question. Do you think in one-handed backhand will ever win? A one-handed backhand will ever win a Grand Slam? Again, for me, it's not certain. Tennis is getting slower and slower, and the surfaces are not helping. Well, I think that tennis is getting faster and faster, and I think you mean the same. You just mean that the surfaces are getting slower, are getting slower and slower. But I think the game is incredibly fast because the players hit the ball harder, with more spin, but harder, and take the balls way earlier. If you look at Alcaraz and Sinner, so many drop shots from Shelton. That's unusual. So do I think a 100 backhand? I can say yes if I see someone with a 100 backhand that I see as a potential Grand Slam winner, and I don't see one. So it's difficult to say. Is it possible? Yeah, I think it is. Who was the last one who won a Grand Slam 100 backhand? You remember? He actually won 3. And the guy is still playing. That was Tien's counter drop shot was not a good idea because Ben was 2 meters inside the court. The down the line slice backhand would have been way better. Yes, Scholke SVW. This is Stan. Yeah, when you have a 100 backhand like this, I think you can win a Grand Slam. And on the women's side, remember who was the last one? This one is more difficult to find. So Stan was the last one was the U.S. Open 2016. Wawrinka. Does anyone has an idea about the last woman with 100 backhand who won a Grand Slam? I give you 1 more minute. You don't know? Near at the F4. It's Francesca Schiavone in 2010. So it was Roland Garros, long time ago. We hear the father of Ben saying, keep ripping, keep winning drop shots. Oh, the last one was not Stan. The last one was Dominic Thiem. Was at the US Open in 2020 against Zverev. And actually, that was probably the best occasion for the German to win a Grand Slam title. So that's a tactic. That was a tactic from Ben, listening to his father to go for his shots a lot, go for the winners, and use drop shots. So the tactics is to shorten the points as much as possible. That confirms that it's clearly because he's sick. Otherwise, that's not a tactics. So Prakwa, welcome to the chat. It's your first time also. You want me to say something in for your team? I can say it. I can say it for you. Team Matig Zessier will become champion this year. And welcome also to the unknown Shell Shockers. What do you think makes Shelton's game so good? First is serve, which is one of the best serves on tour. And both first and second. Incredible power, incredible spin. Number one. Then the fact that he's lefty. 3, his power in the game. His forehand is unbelievable. So he makes too many unforced errors, but he also hits an incredible amount of winners. And I would say his competitiveness. I think he's an incredible competitive guy. He's so good when it comes to matches. He's great on the big points in general. So I think he's an incredible competitor. Yeah. And Ben doing well in that return game. Does exactly what his father says. Goes for the big shots every time. And as I explained, as he feels bad, sick, he's playing good. He just doesn't move as well. And that's a great shot. So smart. And what impresses me with Tien from day one, when I saw him play this famous Australian Open, was 2 years ago, I think, when he beat Medvedev. That was his first big victory. Is how much this player is calm and takes the right choices 90% of the time. He looks like he's 30 years old in terms of experience and choices in the game, shot selection and calmness. Just hit 2 double faults in a row. In this game, sorry. But after that, a huge first serve down the tee, amazing. And DG is missing Dominic Thiem. Yes, I think we all do. He was such an incredible player, but after this wrist injury, yeah, you're right. He never ever came back. And we see that Ben is anticipating a lot. Oh la la, that's a big miss from Tien. A bit static at the start of this match. Not enough movement. That explains those mistakes. He's waiting for the ball, doesn't move, sets his feet in the ground too early. Yes, Schalke SVW also, you're right. Ben is really unpredictable. That's also a strength. And I see Ben choosing a side every time when Tien is serving, and so far, he's right 90% of the time. Wow, what a return again. I tell you, when he's on the ball, poof, full power. Leon C. WRR, welcome to the chat. You want a tips for your backhand from me when I am from Austria? I don't understand the end of the sentence. And the drop shot, but yeah, that was not a good idea on this ball. It was behind the baseline and he didn't move up to the ball at all. Very static also. For once, Ben didn't choose the right side. He anticipated the slice serve, and Tien hit an ace down the tee. He made his service game. I didn't understand what Cheng told him. I would have loved to know what's the tactics. NDG. Yeah, you're right, Nerad, the F4. The score is very close considering how sick Ben is. But remember, he has his serve. He's making a lot of points with his serve. So I have a question, complicated question from NDJ. Do I think it's possible for a one-hander with a sustained wrist injury to switch to two-handed for any improvement later in their career? I think it's complicated to do this for a simple reason is when you have, since you're young, a one-handed backhand, you're never using your non-dominant arm. Never, 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 never. Just to pull the racket back. So you have no sensation of the contact with the ball. You don't even have the strength. So if you switch to a two-handed backhand, the role of the left hand is extremely important. So I think it's complicated to switch from one-handed to two-handed late in the career. We have some stats. Here they are. So as we know, Ben is sick. And as he's sick, we understood the tactics was to hit harder, go for his shots more. So his forehand is up 4 miles per hour than his average. 4 miles per hour. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. That's amazing. And on the backhand, 9 miles per hour. So it's even more on the backhand side. And to answer Nerad at 4, who says the score is close considering how sick Shelton is. That's true, but he has his serve, first of all. That saved him a few times already. And second, as I said, when he hits the ball, because he's sick, he's looser, he goes for his shots, he's hitting a lot of winners. So, and for Tien, it's difficult to take more risks, to take the ball early, to move him, because he feels he has a good chance for Ben to miss. So that's always the difficulty when you play an injured player or a sick player. And I have another stat that is impressive. Tien has won 100% of the points when he served T. Yes, Stefano, you're right. Congratulations, by the way. Zverev won the match, 6-4 in the third. So he will have a chance to play a better match and to get more confident match after match because he's still in. And that's why those guys are better than the rest. Even on bad days, even with less confidence, they find a way to win. Where is he in the... I'm looking for him. Where is he in the draw? Okay, I see him now. He's going to play the winner of Tiafoe and Koboli. It's a good match, this one also. (5-4) Shelton. Let's go, Tien. Tien, let's see what you're able to do on your service game. And let's look at those T serves. And I understand that he serves body and it's quite smart because as Ben is anticipating, a lot of times he's on the ball and he goes for it and he's very dangerous on the return. When you serve body, it's difficult to go full power. So that's smart. We have 3 questions on YouTube that I want to answer as well. The ones I was answering were on Twitch. Another anticipation from Ben. Evan Dank 412. Do you think Tien will be a top 10 player within the next 2 years? 100%. I'm sure Tien will be a top 10 player. And I think he can even be a top 5. I think this kid is special. Abdelkader Rouati. One hand backhand is very rare. In junior category, all coaches push youngs to do two-handed backhand. I'm not sure it's correct way for coaching. Maybe let's young more choice. What a game for Tien. I agree with you, Abdelkader. I think I mean, it's not because you're going to have a 100 backhand that you're not going to be at the top. And there are examples of guys that are at the top with 100 backhand, some with unbelievable 100 backhand. We said Stan Wawrinka. We can name also. That's a very good result from Gibson, who just beat Towson. Of course, Gasquet, even Roger, of course. We had Guga, we had Tommy Haas, who was number 2 in the world. So I mean, Guga Grand Slam winner. So yeah, of course you can, and even guys were very high in the rankings and made an incredible career with 100 backhand. That was not a great shot. It was an okay shot, but not great. I'm thinking about Grigor Dimitrov, for example. Was a good 100 backhand, but not great. I think his forehand is 10 times better than his backhand. I can name, who else can I name? Remember Tommy Robredo? I think his 100 backhand was really weak. Guy was top 10. So yeah, to let players choose is always better. The thing is, when they're very young, it's difficult to execute a 100 backhand because of the weight of the racket. So that's probably the moment when they start with 2 hands. There's a third one I'm going to answer soon. Oh la la, that's a big miss. Yeah, you're right, Andy J. Pechi Pericard is the worst one at the backhand on tour, probably. That's what you're saying. Yes, I agree that it's his weakness. Yeah, that was a big miss from Tien, but again, situation not easy. Oof, what a serve from Shelton. 6-5 up. And DJ is saying that for a serve bot, we don't see many one-handers. I remember one. That was literally a serve bot, and he had a 100 backhand. You remember? I'll give you a few minutes. And I'm going to answer another question from YouTube, from Ezod Dimitri Loic. I've noticed that 100 backhands need more time to set up their game, and since the game is getting faster and faster, it doesn't help them. Thanks for the reply, Patrick. I don't know exactly what you mean by they need more time to set up their game. I think it's a question of preparation. If you prepare early enough, you always have time, even if the game is faster. So I don't see this as a problem. I more see it as a problem on a big topspin over the shoulders where they have to play there. That's more a problem, and to return, because with 2 hands, it's always easier to return than with one, especially when the ball is far. And I think that 100 backhand are using too much the slice. The slice is great, but when you move to the side, when you slice, you accept to put yourself in a defense mode where the other guys are counter-punching. So I think that's one of the weakness also, because you feel it's more comfortable to hit a slice on those ones. And I'm going to see what's on the other courts at the moment. No men's matches. What about women's matches? We have Osorio Osaka that is starting on Stadium 2 now. It's going to be an interesting match because Osorio beat Naomi in this same tournament last year. Let's see if Camila is able to play the same quality as the one she played last year. I mean, Ben doesn't even run to the ball when it's far. No, it's an old player, but not that old. But he doesn't play anymore. To answer you and DJ, it's Ivo Karlovic. Had a 100 backhand, and actually it's funny because I know him extremely well because he was practicing at my academy when he was 1,000 in the world for many years, and he get to top 10. And when he was at my academy, he couldn't return flat with the backhand. He was trying and he was missing all the time. I was driving him crazy, and then he started to learn the slice, and it helped him a lot. Tiebreak. That's going to be crazy important because I think that if Tien wins the tiebreak, it's going to be a big advantage in that match in which Ben is struggling and probably won't be able to stay in the rally in the match for very long. Second serve. What a return. Very deep. Oh, a bit lucky this shot from Tien. And in a way, doesn't really deserve the point, I think, because he was very passive. Very, very passive. Hoping for a mistake from Ben, who accelerated the forehand really big. And on the slice defense, he was lucky to hit an incredible drop shot. Hi, Holly BSTRD. I prefer to say it that way because I think it's a bad word. Second serve. Oh my God. Lucky again. Oh, so lucky. Tien, incredible. Incredible. 2 lucky shots in a row to start that tiebreak. Stuff for Ben, especially feeling the way he feels today. No, I don't think that Ivo changed to a 200 backhand. I don't think so. That's way better from Tien. In this rally, he decided to be in charge. I don't think Ivo changed to a 200 backhand in his career. Late, no. But there was a guy, I don't know if you remember him, very tall guy with a big serve that was returning with 2 hands and playing in the rally with 1 hand. Top 10. Tien is a master in terms of shot selection. But still, the first 2 points of this tiebreak were incredibly lucky. Oh la la. This drop shot from Shelton was completely missed and completely rushed. And even though the ball would have been in, I think Tien would have been there. For 1. Oh la la. Lucky again. Second serve that hit the net and the ball went in the service box. So he has another second serve. Incredible how lucky he is in this tiebreak. That's funny. I mean, not for Ben, but... another enforced error for Ben. To be honest, I don't even know if Ben is going to finish the match if he loses the first set. 5-1 Tien. Let's look at a statistic from my team. That will show the tactics. So we talked about the drop shots of Ben Shelton today. So 14% of Shelton's shots today are drop shots. So more than 1 out of 10. And in 2026 season average, is 2.6%. So he's basically hitting 6 times more drop shots than usual today. Good serve, 6-1. 5 set points in a row for Lerner. And I'm curious to see what will be the reaction of Ben, if he's going to continue to play or just give up. Nerad F4 at 4-1, you said that Tien is going to win this set. It's not done yet, but oof, that's a great drop shot. But it's a better situation to hit a drop shot. He's inside the court. The opponent is far back. Yeah, he's ready to hit this massive forehand. So for sure, the player is on his heels. And when he finally hits a drop shot, the chance of success is big. That's the position in which Alcaraz is hitting so many. One of the very few long rallies of this match. 6-3 Tien, who ended up missing his favorite shot, the forehand on the line. But I think his balance was not great on this one. He's going to serve down the tee, I think. Yes. Great return. And it's done. 7-6 for Tien. 1 set to love. And no, Shelton is not giving up. I'm not giving up either. But I'm going to take a short break and come back for the second set. See you in a few minutes. Back into that match, and in that first game, Tien had to save a break point. And I checked on what was said about Ben Shelton after his first round. He was what he said is that he was visibly struggling with a bad cold or flu-like symptoms. He was coughing throughout, called the physio trainer multiple times, looked sluggish, and received an oral spray treatment during a changeover, reacting with clear disgust on camera. Yeah, so physical discomfort. And this fits into a broader concerns at the tournament about a virus, possibly flu-like or stomach-related, spreading among players, with others like Matteo Berrettini mentioning recent illness and flu symptoms. Let's see if, even though he is suffering, he finds a way to win that match, which he did in the previous one, and he was, I think, feeling even worse than today. Because he found a way to beat Opelka in the previous match. Same tactics, serve and drop shot. And yes, the Sefaru is trying to reduce the energy loss by going way more on his shots, and he using a lot the drop shot. That's a good question from Stefaru. When a player is sick during a match, what is the usual mindset? I keep playing unless it's dangerous, or it's not worth it, if I can't perform at my best. Well, the best players will never give up, even if they're super sick. Because being sick is not dangerous. It's different with injuries. Because an injury, depending on which one, of course, can get worse if you keep playing on it. So sometimes the only good decision, which is a decision that I pushed Naomi to take when I was coaching her, for example, in the final of Auckland, she was up 5-2, and then she got injured. And I told her to stop because the Australian Open was around the corner, and we knew the injury could really get worse if he would keep playing. So, and she did pull out during the match. She did retire during the match. It was such a difficult thing to do for her. She didn't want to, but that was a smart decision. But when you're sick, what do you risk? Not much. But some guys feel weak. They feel, I'm not going to win like this. So I prefer to give up. I mean, and of course I have to talk about Serena. And I've told this story, I know, many times. So probably you know it already. And sorry for those who know, but she played Roland Garros 2015 with 40 degrees fever the whole tournament, and she won it. 2015. That's unreal. I've never seen something like this. I remember every day I was going to... So she has an apartment in Paris, and I was going to the apartment. She was in the bed. I was just sitting next to her. I could feel the hit because she couldn't get out of bed. Impossible. I could feel the hit of her fever. That was crazy. A few times during the tournament, I told her, "Come, let's take some fresh air at least. So let's go out and walk." She tried, and she was so dizzy. She said, "Sorry, I can't. Back to bed." And believe it or not, but we didn't practice once the whole tournament. She could not. We didn't do one warm-up before a match. She could not. She was going straight from the bed to the match court, playing the match, winning the match, coming back to bed the whole tournament. I mean, talking about champion mindset, I don't know how it's called, but it's, for me, unreal. Yeah, and DJ, sorry, I answered your question already. Yeah, so that's crazy, no? And a lot of matches she lost the first set because she was struggling so much. but she was literally refusing to lose. And after each match, she was going to the locker room after that. And I had some players that I knew that were in the locker room that told me Serena laid down on the ground in the locker room and she cried after each match because she was completely empty and probably in pain. Because it happened to all of us, how you feel when you have a bad cold with a lot of fever. It's terrible. And you can't breathe also. So to play a tennis match like that, crazy. And so she taught me a big lesson. Nothing is impossible. I knew it theoretically, but I experienced it that tournament. We have a statistics for you guys about the drop shots again. 40% efficiency today. In the first set, Ben Shelton won 4 out of the 10 drop shots he hit. In 2025, he won 45.6% of the points on his drop shots. And in 2026, before this match, he was at 50%. Today he's at 40. Why? Because, first of all, it starts to be predictable. So I think his opponent expects drop shots quite a lot. And second, he misses a lot of drop shots because he plays drop shots at the wrong time because he just wants to stop the rally. So Nerad F4, please tell us the story about basketball player Michael Jordan playing a must-win playoff game. I don't know the story. Oh. Yeah, you said that they had to win that playoff match, and he played sick the whole time, the whole game. Yeah. Yeah, Serena was 2 weeks like this. It's crazy. She felt better in the final. That's the only match in which she felt better. One set to love and 2-1 for Tien, but no break. Actually, 0 break in that match so far. And DJ saying that Serena was playing only best of 3. And if it was best of 5, that would be almost impossible. No, I agree, but even best of 3, it's almost impossible. So working for 10 years with Serena taught me that impossible doesn't mean much for some people. And I have a question on YouTube from Roger Hackett asking if Tien is, so I read it the way it's written, huh? Is Tien playing nice and not drop shotting? Would that be poor sportsmanship by tennis etiquette? I'm not sure I understand, but I think that what you mean that if Tien would play a lot of drop shots and try to make Shelton run a lot, people would say that it's poor sportsmanship. Well, you will always find people to say stuff like that, but I think it would just be a smart tennis. But he's not so much in a position to drop shot because as Ben is going full power on every shot, Tien is not very often in an offense position. And that's the only way to hit drop shots. When you hit drop shots in a defensive position, that's not a good idea. It's an offensive shot, the drop shot. Yeah, exactly. To drop shot on Ben's forehand, good luck. Stefaru saying that Tien and Medvedev are playing doubles together tomorrow. Together? Or against each other? Let me see. This famous forehand down the line of Tien. Such a good shot. Oh, they're playing together. That's fun. Medvedev can only have a great opinion of Tien, who beat him, I think, 3 times. Another ace down the tee for Tien. Yeah, I'll search for Michael Jordan flu game on YouTube. Thank you, Nerad F4. Yeah, we saw that Ben anticipated the serve down the tee. A lot of double faults from Tien today. But if I remember well, he did a lot also in his previous match. It would be good to have a stats on the average number of double faults per match that he does usually and that he did in that tournament so far. But the double faults can be explained today by the fact that he's fearing Ben Shelton's return on second serve because he's going so big. It's probably Tien is probably pushing more to avoid being hit hard. We have a few questions also on YouTube. Let me answer them. From Carnolo's Dog. Patrick, what kind of game style can trouble Sinner and Alcaraz? Listen, none. None, because they have the technical answer to every kind of shot. When you play fast to the side, they're unbelievable. They move incredibly fast and they counterpunch you. When you slow down, they attack. When you play low, they have no problem. When you play high, they have no problem. They return extremely well, both of them. They serve big, both of them. So that's the big advantage of having a technique that puts you in a good situation, whatever the opponent is doing. And that's why they're the best in the world. And that's why they're so much, they're dominating the game so much. I don't think there is a tactic to beat them. You have to outplay them. And as you can see, not many guys can do it. Only Bublik did it last year when he beat Sinner. Not Lehechka. Mensik did it in Doha this year, beating Sinner. But it's very rare. It's extremely rare. Novak did it at the Australian Open against Sinner also. And a few guys, I don't know how many guys beat Alcaraz last year, by the way. I think not many. Let me have a look. So last year, yeah, he lost to Cameron Norrie in Paris. So that's one. I don't think he had a special tactic. He lost to Holger Rune in the final of Barcelona last year. Lost to Goffin in Miami. And Draper in Indian Wells. Lehechka in Doha. So the start of the year was not great last year. And that's the only matches he lost the whole year. So no, I haven't seen one player doing something that was really causing a problem to them. Yeah, Tien is really in defense. He's doing what he can. He's fighting a lot, running, but he almost never can dictate today. As Ben is refusing the rally and just going for winners almost every time and on every shot. I have another question from Ezod Dimitri Loic. Let me see this point first. Serve and volley on second serve again. Been quite successful at the net, Ben, today. In modern tennis, is shot variation such as drop shot, slices, and serve volley becoming an essential requirement for any player who wants to win a Grand Slam, perhaps even more important than return? No, serve and return are the two most important shots. There's no discussion on that. I think it's a big asset to also have more in your game. But I think that when Sinner started to win Grand Slams, he was almost never slicing, hitting very, very little drop shots and very little serve and volley. What is important to win a Grand Slam is to first to answer any kind of problems, whatever kind of balls, slow, fast, high, low, you have to have the answer. And second, you have to serve extremely well, return extremely well, and have a game style that can give you the possibility to dictate and be in charge. I think that's the thing that is common to all the Grand Slam winners. And if one of those things is missing, it's a big problem to win a Grand Slam. It's interesting. Tien is playing everything in the middle when he cannot hurt, and he opens the court only when he can hurt. Otherwise, doesn't give purposely any angle to Ben Shelton. Ben chose the right side once again. He anticipated the forehand down the line, but still couldn't hit the winner. Another ace down the tee. Naomi Osaka is 4-1 up against Osorio in that first set. No, wrong side. And Tien is winning more points on his first serve on that in that match than Ben Shelton so far. 84 against 81. Both are big numbers, but 9 aces for Tien and 5 double faults. And I'd like to see what happened in his previous match. Interesting music. Not sure about it, but okay. Okay, I want to show you something interesting. From our team to show that in 2025, on the deuce side, when he was serving on the deuce side, Ben was quite much to the right. And he moved closer to the tee in 2026. Probably the goal is to be more efficient when serving the tee. So when you have more angle, like in 2025, it's easier to serve out wide, to find the angle out wide. It's not ideal to serve the tee because the ball will come back to the center a little bit. I mean, come back in the direction of the player. Where when you are close to the tee, close to the center, the serve on the tee is going to go away from the, especially if you put some slice in it, which it has as a lefty. So that's an adjustment he's made between 2025 and 2026. Thank you. It's a very good information, very interesting information. 4-3 Tien, no break. Oh, and a stat. He was winning 76% of his points when he was on the deuce side. 73%, sorry, last year. He's winning 76 this year. So it's efficient. Actually, it just did it when I was saying it. Very nice serve down the tee with slice. And Tien was only able to put the ball back very short. That's incredible. This drop shot's amazing. That's a great return from Tien. Unbelievable return. That hits the ground before Shelton, who has to hit a half volley on a fast ball. So that's very difficult. And on those ones, you need to stay incredibly low and move forward with the ball. A good game from Ben. Went really fast on that short ball. Took it really early, took time away. A tactical advice from father of Ben. Another double fault. Not at the best moment for Tien. Love 30. Danger mode. That's the important points. Because he can't have to face 3 break points in a row. And no first serve. And another double fault, 2 in a row. Love 40. And 3 break points in a row at 4-all. And no first serve again. No, 0 first serve in that game. That's well done. Very good forehand down the line. Oh, that's a bad miss from Ben because the ball was coming to his backhand, but nothing special in that ball. And only one more break point. And an ace down the tee for Tien. I tell you, this kid, he's special. That was the chance of Shelton because he had 3 break points in a row. On the last one, he couldn't do anything, but he could do something on the second one for sure. What a return. It's very risky to give Ben some angle on the second serve. Second serve body, I think, is the best one against him. And my feeling about the double faults of Tien is right. We look at this second serve. Body, much better. No, that's not a good one. That's not a good volley. That's also a strange choice because the slice backhand volley short cross is a winner for sure. And he goes down the line and short, so very short. Ideal. And another break point. I mean, if he gets broken here, second serve, big danger. And another double fault. That's such a bad game from Tien. Unbelievable. 3 double faults in the game. So let me tell you some figures that I have. So today is at 10 double faults already. So is 2026. So let's say the tour average, 2.5 double faults per match. That's the tour average. His whole career is done 3.7 double faults per match. And so far in 2026, 4.3 per match. So he's definitely hitting many more double faults than last year. Many more aces too, but it takes a lot of risk on second. I don't feel he has a very secure second serve. Or his secure second serve is too slow. So he's forcing it. But he literally gave that game to Ben. And also I think it's wrong because he goes for a slice out wide on second serve. And whenever he gives angle to Ben, is in danger. Okay, we have 3 questions on YouTube. One from Carnelo's Dog. Is Federico China going to win a Grand Slam this year? So this year, I can tell you straight away, no. Can he win a Grand Slam in the future? Why not? He's a great player. He's a young player progressing extremely fast in the ranking, and I think he has a great future. Question from Ezod Dimitri Loic. If Alexander Zverev has a strong first serve and one of the best backhands on tour, what is preventing him from winning multiple Grand Slam titles? The problem is Mental eyes purple crying. Well, I agree that he has an amazing serve, first and second. Amazing. You said and you're right, also he has an amazing backhand. I will add also that he has a problem here. Yeah. He also has a great return, by the way. He's returning amazing. First of all, he has a weakness with his forehand, which the other top guys don't have. Second, I think he's too passive, generally speaking. And Alcaraz and Sinner are everything but passive. And I think that's the main two reasons. I don't see any other than those two. And when he's starting to be, how can I say that, tight, when he's tight, quite often his forehand is breaking. Oh, that's good. What Tien did on that return, that's exactly what he should have done way earlier in that match. Step in and move Ben straight away. That's a great serve from Ben. This kick out wide, so difficult to return. Even more when the players are not very tall, like Tien. That's a great return. That was great. Again, much more intention of play for Tien. All. 5-4. 30 all on Ben serve. Now he's not close to the tee on this one. So he made this adjustment to be closer to the center of the court. But sometimes he decides to go a bit to the side, like on this one. Which makes it easier to find the out wide, but not the tee. Second serve. Oof, that's not a good return. Very short. Too slow, yeah. Too slow that forehand. Giving an angle to Ben without hurting him. You sure you're going to be hit back? And now it's a set point for Ben Shelton. And that's done. One set all. And congratulations for Ben, because so tough for him today, but this guy is a fighter. I take a short break and I see you for the third set. It starts to be really interesting, this match. Vas-y. High back on another double fault from Tien. I don't know what he's doing with his serve today, but I mean, I have an idea. Oh la la, a big mistake. He's losing completely his way in that match for quite a while. Ten double fault. And I don't understand why he keeps trying to hit the slice on the ad side on Ben Shelton's forehand on second serve. Doesn't make any sense for me. Oh la la. And I feel that he's losing his way a little bit because he's very static. He hits a shot and he expects the shot to be winner, so he's not on the movement. He stops. He hits the shot, he stops. Usually you never stop, you're always on the move. And I think that's 128 unforced errors. It's way too much for Tien. Thankfully for him, oh, you meant, Stefano, you meant Federico would win a Grand Slam in juniors? Or in the pros this year? Yeah, he's 183 ATP. Nothing is impossible. But I would be really surprised if he wins a Grand Slam this year. No, he's 18 years old, so he doesn't play the juniors anymore. Oh, no, the wrong side again. But he can make it. So B Cell is asking me which one is my favorite ATP 1000 tournament. Well, I love Indian Wells for sure, but my favorite is Rome. Oh, Davidovich Fokina won 6-2 the first set against Mensik. Yeah, Rome. I love Rome because for three reasons. First, I love the game on clay in general. Second, the stadium is incredible. It's such an old stadium full of statues, and I think it looks really incredible. Another time the wrong side for Tien. That's really a bad sign when a player starts to always play the wrong side. Shows that mentally something is not going well. And it's rare to win a match when you constantly choose the wrong side. Like you have an easy ball to finish, the opponent is choosing a side and you play on him all the time. Happened quite a lot in that match between those two guys. It has to be a very frustrating match for Tien because he can see that Ben is struggling and he can't find his game today. Tien. And the third reason why I love Rome so much is because the atmosphere is unbelievable. Italian fans are some of the best on tour. And even if you watch the qualities of the tournament, it's crazy. It's packed and they're cheering. And I think the ambience is really something incredibly special. That's why I love Rome so much. And if I have to say my three favorites, I would say Rome number 1, Indian Wells number 2, and I also love Montreal for the same reason. I think the fans are really amazing there. Oh, the wrong side again? That's crazy. He's lucky because once again, wrong side. That's true that if you're not Italian and you play in Italian, it's tough. That's true. But in general, they're huge tennis fans in this country. Breakpoint. And a missed return from Tien. I think he should return down the center. Why you take a risk on this? It's a first serve. Just put that ball inside the court and give yourself a chance. That's a very indecisive match. There is a little drama between Davidovich Fokina and Mansik. I think because Mansik took a toilet break and I think it took too long. And I don't know what's the discussion about. Let me listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mansik took more than allowed time for his toilet break. He will be penalized for 1 time violation.
That's also a big miss from Tien on that last drop shot. So he got a time violation, so it's not too bad. I have a question from Skitter73, who's asking me which tennis ball machine you recommend. The one I'm using is called Nisplay, and I like it because it's very light, easy to transport, and not expensive, and it does everything that I need and that I expect from a ball machine. Another ace. And another match that shows how much this sport is about learning to deal with frustration. Imagine the level of frustration of Tien at the moment. The way he got broken in the second set with 3 double faults. Playing someone who just plays shots today because he can't do anything else. Choosing the wrong side so many times. And feeling that the match might slip away from him. Even though if he would play his normal level, he would win it probably 10 times out of 10. So that's a good game. Huh? After having a break point and missing it, that's a great, great game. And I was talking about double faults. I want to see how many Mansik did because I think he's another guy that does a lot of them. Oh, he did only 2 today so far in the first set. Yeah. No, 9 for Tien, not 10. 14 aces. Only 4 aces for Ben Shelton so far. But on second serves, that's where the difference is. 47% for Tien versus 62 for Ben Shelton. But 9 double faults affects a lot of your percentage of points won on second serve. Huh? Yeah, Ben Shelton's kick is unbelievable. It jumps incredibly high. Matthew Pitts, 3212 on YouTube is asking, should the US start to adapt Spanish tennis training? Seems like the US always lags behind Europe in tennis outcomes and training. Do you feel it's more mental? I wouldn't say so. Hello, Linda. I hope you're good. Welcome to the chat. Stefaro is saying hi to you. And Stefaro, Ben was listening to you. He started his first serve with a huge kick. Well, I don't think it's a question of training. I don't think that Spanish training is better than other trainings. I think it's more a question of having the right athletes, the ones that can win Grand Slams, the ones that are... what is true is technically, historically, since probably Agassi, Sampras, and Roddick, the American players have... their technique is not as great as an Alcaraz or Sinner, but actually... it's not true only for Americans. It's true for most of the players, or Novak. So I think that's what I always say about American tennis. The thing is, all the best athletes, young athletes in the US, would rather go to American football or NBA rather than tennis. Because first of all, that's their sport. That's the sports that are the most popular there. So the kids are more attracted by those sports than tennis. And second, if you're a great athlete and you go to those sports and you're number 100 in the country, you're going to make a huge money. If you're 100 in your country in tennis, you can't live out of tennis. You can't even if you're 300 in the world. So I think it makes a lot of sense being American to rather go to those sports or baseball. So there are 3 sports. If you're number 100 in the country, you make incredible money. You don't have to be top 10 in the world like in tennis. And even top 10 in the world, not many make the same amount of money as the best NBA or NFL or NHL players. Oh, Linda, you made a lot of friends. Hi, HD Crane. Welcome to the chat. It's your first time interacting. Why Tien is not choosing more stops and let Shelton run? That's a good question. I think that, but again, it's difficult to play against a sick player. A player who's sick, Shelton is both a player who's sick and a sick player. But I think tactically, I don't think he's playing the right way. There is only one way to play against Ben today, I think. It's either, if you can't play fast, if you can't be offensive, then play center, don't give him angle. And second, if you can dictate or you can yeah, if you're in a position to be more offensive or dictate, take the ball early and move him to the sides, but at a high pace. And I think that what he's doing way too much is giving angle to Ben at a slow pace. And that's even what he's trying to do on second serve. Why doesn't he serve body rather than trying to slice? That's perfect. Nothing happens to him when he does this. Just did it. Thank you, Julien K. Tennis. It's a good stat that I didn't know. If Shelton wins today, it will be his 5th consecutive victory after losing the first set. That's an interesting statistic. Oh, that's a great shot from Ben. Tien will have to work a lot on the touch when he's inside the service box because he's been really non-efficient there at all today. Here is the 10th double fault. Back to 30 all. That's great. That's great. He could be offensive on this one. He cut the trajectory, took the ball early, went cross court with a good angle. Nothing can happen to him. Nothing can happen to him when he does this today against Ben. HD Crane, I'm a huge fan also of Ben. I love Ben. I mean, I love both his game style and I love also his personality. Plus, I know him quite well, so I can tell you how great, as a great guy, he is. He's an amazing guy. So I wish him the best. I hope he's going to win a Grand Slam. I think he still needs to progress in a lot of things in his game. And as I said, I see it as something very positive. But because when you're top 10 and you've already achieved what he has achieved, winning a Masters 1000, and you have so much that you can improve, it's a good sign. But he needs to improve his return many more balls in play. That's very important against the best ones. He needs to still improve his backhand. He needs to improve his slice backhand also. He's hitting the backhand slice a little bit without the body, just with the arm. He can improve his volleys, and he's coming to the net quite a lot, but I think he can volley better. He has to improve his consistency and accept to rally. And he has to improve his movement. Because if you compare his movement to the ones of Alcaraz and Sinner, there is a big difference still. And when he's moved to the side, he slices a lot because he's late. Those guys, they don't slice. They slice in extreme situations. Otherwise, they're able to, when they move to the side at a high pace, they can counterpunch you. So that's a lot, but it's great to have a lot of things to improve and be already in the top 10 and at that level. Mensik is crazy frustrated today. 6-2, Davidovich Fokina against him, and 2-all in the second set. And he shows a lot of signs of frustration and being angry. That's the right way to play for Tien. Whenever Ben is slowing down, take early, find an angle, make him move at a very high pace. Tien is way closer to the baseline to return. Than he was in the first set, and even also on second serves. There was a weird bounce after this return. That explains the mistake of Ben. Apocalypse Chet, good to see you again. Good evening. I'm well, thank you, and I hope you too. No, I'm not saying that. Wait. I'm not saying that if Tien is not able to extend the rallies, he's not going to win. I think he needs to play a little bit smarter than what he does today. Of course, it's tough to play someone who's sick, but he played too much, giving angle to Ben without the pace. He's going too much on his second serves and puts himself in danger. So, no. I think if he's able to return a little bit more, like what he just did, this is angle and not pace, so he's done. Play center, slow, and open fast to the sides, rather than playing cross and slow, because then for sure Ben is going to take early and boom, go for the winner. And DJ, no, I'm not coaching anyone this year. And I won't. I won't coach for the next years. That's a personal decision that I took. So, unfortunately, or not, I won't be on tour. But as you can see, I still have the same passion for the game. This didn't change and will not change. And I'll be on the court, but in my tennis places. So in Athens, where I live, and also in my academies and tennis centers around the world. 7 out of 7 for Ben in that match. I'm talking about the breakpoints saved. That's better. That was center. No angle. Not that easy for Ben. And DJ, yeah, I have way less stress, that's sure. But I like this stress. It's cool when you're on tour and you are taking care of someone. There is, especially if it's a player that is a top one, there is even more pressure because everybody expects the player to do well all the time. So that's really something I like. I like this pressure. What a return. Okay, deep center. Now you can move him. No. Not good. Oh. He got lucky a little bit because it's a big mistake from Ben. And 4-2 Tien in that third set. That's a big option for him. And let's see if he's able to be more solid on his serves. Not multiplying double faults. Thank you, Andy J. That's very nice, your message. I really appreciate it. That's amazing. Whoa. Huge risk on that backhand down the line, but that's the right thing to do. I mean, he could have taken a little bit more margin, but that's great. Yes, the Koboli Tiafo is going to be late. The program today is amazing, I think. Amazing program. There are so many good matches to see. We'll see also second round of Yannick Sinner, second match of the Yannick Sinner. And if I was Ben, I would rush to the net a lot because in that match, he has been very successful. Tien has not been really good at choosing the right side to pass him. Good serve, down the tee. Drop shot. Lob. No. Passing shot, very nice passing shot. Oh, I don't know. We have a statistic. I don't know why this statistic now, because I think that Ben was not hitting a lot of aces this match, but now he has many more. That's his lowest level of aces in one match in 2025 and 2026. So that was Clay in Rome. So only 1 against Munyar, 3 against Cobolli in Paris, 3 against Zverev in Munich, Clay 2. Paris, we don't know if it's Roland Garros or the Masters 1000, so I cannot say if it's Clay. 3 against Van der Zandschulp in Munich, so also Clay. And 4 today versus Tien, which is not written the right way. This is more Dominic Tien, this one. But it's not 4 anymore. I think it's now is up to much more than that. Is at 6. Apocalypse Chat, what did I think of Carlos last night? I think he plays incredible at the moment. I've seen Carlos win very often, not playing great. And that's one of his big qualities, by the way. He's great at winning matches, not playing his best. But at the moment, we're talking about someone who didn't lose a single match this year. Won Australian Open, of course, and he won Doha also. Thank you, Beatsell. So it was in Paris Masters. Okay. Yeah. So we're talking, but it's 5-2 for Lerner Tien now, huh? But yeah, in that match, it's 15 aces for Tien, 6 for Shelton. It's a lot of aces for Tien, but it's also, I mean, he's serving really good for a guy not so tall. But it's also because Ben is choosing one side every time to return. He's guessing today. Can someone confirm the stream plan for tomorrow for this channel? It's a good question. Maybe I can exchange some text messages with my team to decide which match we're going to do. Naomi Osaka won 6-1 the first set, but she's down 5-3 in the second against Camila Osorio, who beat her in Indian Wells last year. So we knew potentially it was not an easy match for her. Seventh ace of Ben Shelton today. Oof, what a lob from Tien. Amazing lob. So 10 double faults for Tien. And it's the second time in his career that he makes 10 or plus double faults in one match. He did 16 against Carabelli at the Australian Open 2025. But it was 5 sets, so it's a big difference. $40-30. And interesting, Tien will have to serve for the match, 5-3. Let's see how this young player deals with the pressure on a day like this when he didn't feel his game well. Ben will make the effort in this game for sure. He's going to push and accept the rally more. Oh my God. What an incredible passing shot. So smart and so much touch from Tien. Another great serve. I am Svant. I am Svant. Hi from Australia. You're in Australia. That's great. It's your first time on the chat, so be welcome and feel free to ask questions or interact. Of course. That's what it's for. And 3 match points for Tien now. A message from Cocage8306. First message also on the chat. Welcome. I was asking some news from Holger. Well, I think it's the match point. Incredible return from Ben Shelton. Well, it's we all have news because he's posting a lot on social media about the exercises he's doing, his rehab, and now also his tennis practice. And I have news, of course, yes, also. And he's really excited and happy because he feels that things goes faster than expected. And game, set, and match for Tien. That was not an easy one. We have to really congratulate Ben for the effort because to be able to fight like this on a day where he felt so bad, just for those who just arrived, if there are some, he's very sick. Yes, it would be rude to not shake the hand of someone who's sick, especially after beating him. Yeah, he's extremely sick today, but he did what he could. He fought all the way. He went for his shot even more than usual. And for Tien, it was tough to play against him. Very hesitant, a lot of wrong choices. Very stressful, as we know, because he knew he had such a big chance to win if he was not making too many unforced errors. Exactly. Wash your hands once you step out of the court. And please, during the interview, don't put your hand in your mouth. Otherwise, you'll be the next one on the list of the flu. Yeah, so, and I really like the 2 service games of Tien after he broke. I think it was very mature and very solid. I think this kid is amazing, even though he didn't play the best match of his life today. I think he's really amazing, and I'm sure he's going to be top 10 in the future and maybe probably even top 5 if he continues to work hard the way he does with Cheng at the moment. Tomorrow, just to answer the question of who was that? Who asked me the question? I don't remember. Anyway, which match we're going to call tomorrow? Let's do the Djokovic-Kovacevic match. No. Sorry. Let's do Cerundolo-Draper. That's an amazing match. It's going to be at 9 p.m. for European time tomorrow. That's a great one because I think Cerundolo is an amazing player. He hits the ball so good from the baseline. I think his best surface is clay, but I think he's a great hardcourt player. Draper is the one who won the tournament last year. He has a lot of pressure. He's been injured for a long time. He's very excited to be back, and I love his game. I think, I think he's also a super exciting player. So I'm happy to commentate this match. to be with you guys tomorrow during that match. Stefano, yes, thank you. We will update our channel schedule accordingly. Thank you for taking care. I really appreciate. Thank you, everyone, for spending time with me, for chatting, for being kind to each other. There is an amazing, I think, feeling on this chat. I really like it. Thank you to all the guys who joined on YouTube as well. It's the first time we also stream on YouTube, and that's great. So we'll do both also tomorrow. So be there. I'll be there for sure to watch some exciting tennis from Indian Wells. I wish you a great night for the Europeans, a great day for the others, and I tell you, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.